proceed to the next point. We should ensure whatever we see is clear.
That means work is being done. We can see that it is in opposite direction.
Good day, learners. You are welcome to another segment of Agricultural Science class. My name is Rashida Umar. Today, we are going to talk about livestock parasites. Today, we are going to see the meaning of parasites and types of parasites, which include the endoparasite, ectoparasite, life cycle of some parasites, economics importance, control of parasite. Then we proceed to the assignment. Meaning of parasite. Parasite is an organism living in or on another organism called the host. The host is usually bigger and stronger than the parasite. The parasite derives its benefit, that is food, from the host, while the host is harmed or injured during the association. Parasites are divided into two groups. What we mean here is, we say parasites, they are what? They are living organisms, and they live in or on, that is inside or outside the body of another organisms, which is called the host. So this host is usually bigger and stronger. Mostly the host, that is the host in which the organisms or the parasite lives inside or on, they are bigger and stronger than the parasites. And the parasites, they derive their food from the what? From the host. And on the process of deriving their food, they injure or harm the host. And we say these parasites, they are being divided into two. That is the endoparasite and the ectoparasite, which we are going to take them one after the other. Now let's look at the endoparasite. These are parasites that live inside its host. Example of this endoparasites, they include tapeworm, ascaris or roundworm, and liver flock. As I earlier mentioned in definition, I said parasites, they are organisms that live either on the body of the host or right inside the body of the host. So these endoparasites, they are the parasite that lives right inside the body of the host. An example, we said they include tapeworm, roundworm, liver flock, etc., which we are going to take them one after the other. The first one is tapeworm. Tapeworm is also known as the Taenia solium. It is a long endoparasite flatworm with a very small head, neck, and long segmented body. Taenia solium is found in pig, while Taenia saginata is found in cattle. This tapeworm, we have two types of tapeworm. The ones that are found in pig, they are known as the Taenia solium, while the ones that you find in cattle, they are known as the Taenia saginata, that is found in cattle. So my learners, as you can see, for those of you that are watching, this is a diagram showing you a tapeworm. The upper side, that is the scoreless, which include the hook, the sucker, and the other side is the neck. Here is the posterior proglottitude and the all mature proglottitude. Now we are going to look at the life cycle of a tapeworm. These are tapeworm, we said they are hermaphrodites. These hermaphrodites, they are tapeworms, or they are types of organisms that have both the male and female reproductive organ in one. So it fertilizes itself. It has both the male and the female reproductive organ. So it doesn't need any partner for fertilization, because it has the two reproductive organs in one. So as you can see here, the life cycle, when a matured tapeworm, it drops what? Its proglottitude. It drops. And when it drops, that is inside a human, it drops and it passes out through the feces of what? Of man. when it falls down, when it passes out through the feces of man and it falls outside, pigs now what? They swallow their feces, including the worm. So when they swallow it, it goes directly to what? To the gut of the pig, where it passes through the bloodstream of that pig, and it settles down in what? In the muscles or head of the pig, whereby after consuming the pig by man, the man consumes the tapeworm together with the what? With the flesh of the pig. And it's now what? It develops and it grows. And it becomes what? The prolactitude now grows and become matured. When it is being consumed, by man, it's now what? It now grows in human and it becomes what? The matured tapeworm. That is the life cycle of a tapeworm. Now, let's look at the economic importance of tapeworm. When we say economic importance, that means it can be advantages or disadvantages of the tapeworm. Number one, we say abdominal pain or discomfort. It causes, this tapeworm, it causes abdominal pain or discomfort. Secondly, it causes anemia, that is short of blood. Number three, it causes weakness. It causes weakness of the body. Number four, it also causes indigestion. That is difficulty in digestion of the food consumed. Control of tapeworm. How do we control this tapeworm? First of all, we said meat should be examined for bladder worm before selling to the public. Before you sell your meat to the public, you have to what? You have to examine it for what? For bladder worm, so that you are not going to sell it to people and they consume it with that tapeworm and it continues going around from human to the pig, it circulates. Secondly, meat should be properly cooked before eating. When you cook your meat properly, it means you are not going to consume it with the tapeworm. Thirdly, practice good sanitary measures so that it will not be possible for animals to come in contact with or eat human feces. This good practice or good sanitation is very important, because if there is constant sanitation, it means it will not even allow the animals to what? To consume or to come in contact with human feces. Number four, affected people to be treated by regular deworming. People that are already infected with tapeworm are supposed to or expected to treat it or deworm themselves regularly. The second parasite, the second endoparasite is the liver flug. It's a flattened leaf-like organism. It is brown in color, about 2 centimeters long. It is endoparasite of farm animals like the cattle, sheep, and goats. Farm animals are the primary host, while the snail is the secondary host. What we mean here, the liver flug, it is what? It is flattened leaf-like, that is in structure. It is brown in color. And mostly the type of animal that it affects or attacks is the cattle, sheep, and goats. Farm animals are the primary hosts, that is the goat, sheep, and the cattle, they are the primary hosts. While the snails, they are the secondary host. As you can see here, this is a diagram showing you a liver flug. This is the mouth part, we have the oral sucker, the genital pulse, and this is the excretory pulse of a liver flug. Now, let's look at the life cycle of a liver flug. When it lays the egg now molts and become what? And turn into mericidium. From there, it enters into, when it lays the egg, it enters or falls into the water, and it meets what? The snail. So from the water now, it enters into the body of the snail as what? As the process. Then from there, it grows and develops to become what? The radia. Then from the snail, it now goes out on the vegetation. That is, from the vegetation now, it is being finally consumed by what? By animal, like the cattle. It will now be consumed by the cattle. So that is how it goes round. When the cattle consume it, when it passes physics, it will pass physics together with the liver flock, and the physics, the eggs will now molt and what and develop. It will become the mericidium, from mericidium to spory, cyst, from there to radia. Then from the radia, it will now go out to vegetation, where the animal, that is the cattle or goat, will now consume or ingest the liver flock. Now, my learners, let's look at how we are going to prevent this liver flock from completing its life cycle. You know, we said the snail is its what? Secondary host. So if you want to cut or curtail their life cycle, you have to what? You have to stop, or you have to prevent the liver flock from completing its life cycle. Once you cut off the life cycle, it's not going to continue. So let's look at the first method there, is eliminating all snails which are their secondary hosts in water or pasture, where the ruminants or animals drink or feed, by spraying copper sulfate solution on them. The first thing that you do is what? You eliminate all the snails, being them the secondary host. So what you do is you eliminate. Once you eliminate the secondary host, they are not going to continue growing to reach even the primary host. So how do you curtail it? What you do is what? You use a spray which is known as copper sulfate. So when you apply copper sulfate on them, you're going to what? Eliminate the snails. Secondly, provide clear, uninfected water and feed for the animals. Animals that you're supposed to feed them with clear water and uninfected feed. Thirdly, control weeds along riverside. The weeds that are along the riverside, you have to what? You have to control them so that the snail cannot live inside them. If there is no, when you control the weeds, there is no going to be proper space for what? For the snail to live. Fourthly, periodic burning of pastures to kill eggs in feces. You have to be burning what? Your pastures periodically, so that in case if there is any egg in the feces, you what? You burn them. That is, you destroy them. Economic importance of liver flock. What are the economic importance of this liver flock? Firstly, we say it causes a disease called bilharzia or schistosomiasis. This liver flock, when it comes in contact with the animal, it causes a disease which is known as what? Bilharzia or schistosomiasis. Secondly, it leads to loss of blood. Thirdly, it obstructs the bile duct. 4, it causes liver rot. That is, it causes liver rot to the animal. 5, it leads to indigestion disturbance. This liver flock, it leads to what? Digestive disturbance. Number 6, it may result in death. Now let's look at the control measures. How do we control this liver flock? Firstly, we say we control it by what? By drain pasture properly, since wet pastures can harbor snails. When the pastures are what? Are wet, it can harbor the snails. So you should always drain properly your pasture so that the snail cannot live in them. Secondly, introduce ducks and geese to eat up the snails. Sometimes you can what? You can introduce your duck or the goose to what? To eat up all the snails that are around the area. That is also another method of what? Control. Use lime on pasture because eggs of liver flock do not hatch in water containing high level of alkaline. When a water contains high level of alkaline, the eggs do not what? Hatch. They don't hatch in water that contains high level of alkaline. So that is why another method of controlling this snail, you can just simply what? Use lime on the pasture. The third endoparasite is what? The roundworm, which is also known as the Ascaris lumbricosidis. This is elongated cylindrical white worm, which is pointed at the both end of the body, is smooth and is covered by thick, tough cuticle of few centimeter long. Okay, as you can see on this diagram, this is a photograph showing you a round worm. There at the upper side is the mouth, then at the lower side we have the male paw, and we also have the anus at the tail end. Economic importance of round worm. Number one, they reduce the growth of host animal. This roundworm, they what? They reduce the growth of the host animal because they are always feeding on them, sucking their blood. So they don't allow them to what? To grow well or to grow fast. Number two, high infestation can affect the respiration of host animal. When there is high infestation of this roundworm, they affect respiration of the hosts. Number three, it results in loss of appetite, weakness, and may result in death. It results in what we said, loss of appetite, it causes weakness, and it may result in what? In death, because once the animal are not feeding well, they end up dying. The fourth one, it destroys many of the organs during migration of the young worms. When the young worms are migrating, generally they destroy many organs in the body of the animal, because as they are migrating, as they are moving, they destroy a lot of organs in the body. Control measures. Number one, the pig should be dewormed with piperazine drugs regularly. That is, when the animal or the pig is being affected or has that roundworm, what you do is what? You deworm it. You deworm it using piperazine drugs, that is a regular interval, to eliminate the roundworm. Number two, good sanitation of environment should be maintained. Sanitation is very, very important. When you maintain a very good sanitation in your head, it means you're going to what? Eliminate some of this worm, and it will, your animal will not even come in contact with the feces. Number three, clean and contaminated water and feed should be provided for animals. Clean and uncontaminated water should be provided for what? For your animals. Now we have seen the endoparasite. Now we are going to look at the ectoparasite. These ectoparasites, they are the animal, they are the parasite that lives outside the body of the host. The previous one we say is what? Is endoparasite, which we say they live inside the body of the animal. Now this one is ectoparasite. In ectoparasite, the parasite lives on the body, that is outside the body of the animal. Example of such parasites include, we have the mites, we have tick, we have lice, etc., which we are going to take them one after the other. The first one is the tick. Tick is an ectoparasite of cattle, sheep, goats, and dog. Mostly these tick, you find them where? In sheep, in goats, dogs, etc. Life cycle of tick. The life cycle of most tick occurs in 4 stages. We say their life cycle occurs in 4 stages. It includes the egg, the larva, the nymph, and the adult stage. The life cycle, we say they what? They occur in 4 stages. That is from the egg to the larva, from the larva to the nymph, from the nymph to adult stage. Now, as you can see here, this is a life cycle of what? Of a tick. It starts from where? From the egg. From the egg, it what? It develops and become larva. It molts and become nymph. From the nymph, it grows to adult. But all these processes take place in different horses. When it falls down and lays the egg will now develop and molt, and it will what? It will turn into larva on the grasses. Then the larva now will fix itself into another horse, whereby it's going to what? It will grow again and become nymph. The larva has 6 legs. Well, in the nymph, it has what? 8 legs. Then from the nymph, it now comes down and also join another horse, which it grows and what? And become adult with 8 legs. Now, let's look at the economical importance or effect of this tick. What are the effects of this tick to the animal? Number one, they cause great annoyance and irritation to their hosts. It causes what? Irritation and great annoyance to the host, because they always they'll be flying or walking on the body of this animal. They act as vectors of disease, e.g. tick or fever. Tick fever. Thirdly, it injuries from the bites may become ulcerated wound. When it bites the body of the animal, these bites, sometimes it becomes what? Ulcerated wound. 4, damage of the skin by tick on horse reduces the quality of skin. If you take your animal to the market to sell, because of the damages on the skin, it will what? Definitely it will reduce the value of what? Of your skin or of the animal or on the head. They suck the blood of the horse, thus leading anemia to the host. Mostly they suck, this tick, they depend on the blood. So they suck the blood of animal, and this will lead to what? To anemia, that is short of blood in the animal. And this can also lead to what? To death. Control measures. Number one, animals should be kept in clean environments. Secondly, animals should be dipped in insecticide solution regularly to what? To destroy tick or spray them with what? Ascoricide solution. We have one solution that is known as what? The ascoricide. So you dip the animals in the solution, or you spray the animal with such solution. Thirdly, new stock are to be isolated to ensure that they are free from infection. When you bring new animals, don't join them with the ones in your what? In your head. What you have to do, you have to isolate them firstly and make sure they are free from disease or from any pest before you bring them together with the previous ones in your head. Now, the second example of what? Of the ectoparasite is lice. Lice are wingless insects with flattened bodies. The body is divided into 3. We have the head, the thorax, and the what? Abdomen. Their mouth part is used for biting and sucking. The mouth part of this lice is what? Is used for biting and sucking. They attack cattle, sheep, goat, or poultry. These lice, we say they attacked animals like what? The cattle, the sheep, the goat, and also poultry. Now let's look at the life cycle of lice. As you can see here, it also have about 4 stages. When the adult lice, it matures. Normally it reaches maturity in 35 days. So when it matures, it what? It lays egg. When it lays egg on a wool, the eggs now will what? It will develop. That is, after 9 days, it will develop and become what? And become larva. So from the larva, on the 17th day, it now also develops and become what? Nymph. Then from the nymph, it grows into what? Young adult. From young adult, after 35 days, it becomes what? It reaches a maturity stage where it is going to be ready for another egg. Now, my learners, we have come to the end of this lesson. But before I go, I will leave you with these assignments. Question number 1A, describe briefly the external features and life history of a tick. B, state 3 effects of ticks on the host. Question 2A, state 4 damages caused by liver flock. Question 2B, explain how you will prevent the liver flock from completing its life cycle. I repeat, question number 1A, you are to describe briefly the external features and life cycle of a tick. You are to give brief explanation of life history of a tick. Number 1B, state 3 effects of tick on their host. That is the effect of tick on their host. Question 2A, state 4 damages caused by liver flock. Question 2B, explain how you will prevent the liver flock from completing its life cycle. So for further studies, you can consult the following textbooks. Number 1, Essential Agriculture for Senior Secondary School by Iwena, or Prescribed Agricultural Science for Senior Secondary School by Omoroin. For submission of your assignment or any inquiry, you can contact me on the following number. I remain Rashida Umar, 080 34 51 35 76. I repeat, 080 34 51 35 76. Stay home, stay safe, and keep planning.